Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
The Early Line with Mario and Musso. Mario and Musso have your early line on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I mean, we're just here to have fun and win and have fun by winning.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios, here's Mario Jerez and Matt Musso.
And a good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome in, Matt Musso alongside Mario Jerez. We have your early line, Alondra Villarreal, Taylor Sharp on the audio boards and video boards respectively. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July weekend. Hope it was filled with hopefully a day by the pool, some barbecue, celebrating America and our independence. I hope it was a great weekend. I had a great weekend. Did you have a great weekend, Mario?
Had an awesome weekend, Musa. Very much enjoyed celebrating the independence of our great nation.
It was a great Monday, that's for sure.
I bet it was awesome for you, man. Last whole week.
Yeah, the planning on the vacation, it was pretty elite this year by the family. I have to admit. I mean, to go that whole week and then come back and really have the 4th of July off as well. I mean, that might be something we need to replicate in the future. It worked out well. I won't lie.
Great timing in every way for you, man.
Yeah.
Got some good stuff going on in sports, at least locally, with Zion re-signing in New Orleans and the LSU baseball team getting transfer after transfer. Brian Kelly killing a recruiting trail, as is Jay Johnson. You probably had a couple of celebratory drinks over there.
There were plenty, especially just waking up what felt like every morning for the better part of that week to just Jay Johnson pillaging the transfer portal yet again. And Brian Kelly yesterday. I mean, talk about having a great 4th of July. The LSU football program had a great 4th of July yesterday with 3 recruits committing yesterday. That was 4 over the entire weekend.
BK takeover, baby. Not talking about the Whoppers either. And a great week for the early line as well.
Great week. Jeremy Hill filled in as well as Taylor, so I appreciate those guys as well. So I could enjoy the sun and the sand and the surf and a nice steak. And a lot of adult beverages.
That sounds awesome.
That's good.
I'm glad you got some much needed R&R before we get into the nitty gritty in football season.
That we did. So now we just kind of see if we can remember how we do this here on Early Line. And as always, it starts with the Daily Spread. But now it starts with the Daily Spread presented by our friends at Suspense Games.
Daily. Our Daily Spread. What are Mario and Musso watching tonight?
I'm talking about big money. Real big money.
This is our Daily Spread.
Mario, got to see if we can't get back in the swing of things here, right? So, like we've kind of talked about there, obviously was on vacation last week. Apps not live in Florida. Didn't really feel like re-downloading an offshore account or anything like that. Deleted that when the apps went live here. So, went the whole week without a wager. See if we can get back on the horse here. We'll start it, of course, with the no-runs first inning play. I hate having to do this, but we're going to go up to Fenway Park for it. Rays and Red Sox at 6:10 Central. You can see that game on TBS here locally tonight. Jeffrey Springs for Tampa Bay. Nick Pivetta for Boston. -105. That's a great price on this one if you can still get it, especially these two pitchers. That's what it was at earlier. Springs 9-1. No runs first inning on this season. The one run that he has surrendered came in his first spot start of the season. Now, of course, moved out of the bullpen into the rotation full-time and has fired 9 straight scoreless frames. 36 first inning batters faced. He's walked just 1 and held the opponent to a 171 batting average against. You look at Nick Pivetta, he has really stabilized. The Reds, a weak starting rotation for Boston, 14-2 on the season when it comes to no runs in the first inning, including 8 straight of his own. 58 first inning batters faced for Pivetta, walking just 3, holding his opponent to a 164 batting average. When you look at the lineups, the Red Sox should be without Xander Bogaerts again tonight. He got lacerated and cleated in the thigh, required 7 stitches, so he's day-to-day. That's a hole in the top of the lineup for Boston. The Rays, kind of talked about them a lot lately. They had some injuries with Wander Franco, Kevin Kiermaier. Those guys are back, so that lineup is at full strength. It's a good one, but we like the pitchers in this matchup. Jeffrey Springs, Nick Pivetta, Rays, Red Sox, no runs in the first inning.
We like him. We like it so much. Matter of fact, let's keep it in Fenway Park because I am looking at Rafael Devers going over 1.5 total bases for the Red Sox tonight. And I honestly just really like the price here, Musso. Plus 115 odds, getting plus money, which is really good value because all it could take is one swing of the bat for old Rafael Devers, and you followed him all season. You know he's played really well for the Red Sox, and he has now recorded multiple hits in 4 out of his last 10 games. Good trend going into this one. He also has the 6th best slugging percentage in all the major leagues. 5.79 has been a beast for Muso's Red Sox, as we said, and like you said, he has a decent matchup against Rays starter Jeffrey Springs, who has a 2.25 ERA coming into this game. But something that I noticed, Muso, is that Rafael Devers is currently competing against Cleveland's Jose Ramirez in the final round of voting to start in the AL All-Star game. So maybe a little bit of added motivation going into this one. Devers has until July 8th, which is this Friday, to pass up Ramirez, so he needs some good performances. Why don't we start that off tonight? So give me over 1.5 total bases for Rafael Devers for the Red Sox.
4-0 shutout victory for Boston at yesterday afternoon, I should say, against the Tampa Bay Rays. Just adding to the great 4th of July festivities for your
Brush
boy.
your shoulders off,
yeah,
Muso.
There you go. Dansby Swanson, over 1.5 total bases, minus $1.15 tonight. The Braves will host the Cardinals, 6:20 Central Time, the first pitch for this one. The defending World Series champs, Mario. Don't look now, Mets, but here come the Braves. They've closed that gap to 3.5 games, and let me tell you, Dansby Swanson, former Vanderbilt product, is a huge reason why. So in the month of June, Swanson hit .330 with 7 homers and 19 RBI. He hasn't slowed down at all since the calendar flipped to July. 4 games so far in July, he's hitting .500 with a homer and 6 RBI. Here's the important part. 3 of his last 4 games in July have been multi-hit games. 5 of his 9 hits have gone for extra bases. If Swanson stays hot, this should cash easily. Now, it will be the first time he faces Cardinals pitcher Andre Palante, so maybe it takes him a while, get in there, figure out a new arm. But again, when you're seeing it as well as Swanson is right now, typically you can hit just about anyone. Plus, when the Braves chase the Cardinals starter, they will take their swings against a short-handed St. Louis bullpen. Swanson will have plenty of opportunities for a big night in this one. Braves-Cardinals, give Dansby Swanson over 1.5 total bases.
We like it. That being said, let's get in on some of this NBA drama here, Musa, because I am looking at the Toronto Raptors right now, who have plus 300 odds to be where Kevin Durant plays his next NBA minute. Again, plus 300 for the Raptors to be where KD plays his next NBA minute. And really in the latest KD market, Muso, it's coming down to 2 teams right now. The Suns have the shortest odds as we speak at minus 110 to land Durant, and they've been a preferred destination for KD from the beginning. They probably had the assets to make it happen, and Monty Williams is a common link there. KD played for him when he was an assistant on the OKC Thunder. But as of this afternoon, the Toronto Raptors have moved to plus 300 odds to trade for KD. That's second on the board, and that's what we're looking at right here. Back on June 30th, just 5 days ago, Toronto was all the way out at plus 3,300 to 1 to get KD, but the Durant to Toronto hype really grew over the weekend, and Zach Lowe of ESPN, somebody who's really accurate usually with these sort of things, listed Toronto as a destination for KD even before his trade request. So it goes back a little bit. And remember, this is the same office led by Masai Ujiri, who swung the bat a few years ago and traded for Kawhi Leonard. So this has been an aggressive front office in the past, and this is really interesting because Kevin Durant to Toronto makes sense both for him and for the Brooklyn Nets, because the Raptors actually had the assets and the picks to give Brooklyn a decent return here. I mean, they have lots of tradable contracts and a lot of young talent. When you look at OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, who we love on this show, Pascal Siakam, and latest NBA Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. According to reports, Toronto really doesn't want to give up Barnes, understandable, Rookie of the Year and whatnot, but they might not have to because they have so many assets that they might still be able to pull off a trade. And Kevin Durant is also on record saying that he loves Nick Nurse, he loves Canada, he loves everything the Raptors franchise kind of stands for. And honestly, Muso, Durant would probably prefer to go to the Phoenix Suns if I'm just giving my opinion here, but it also looks like he's open to playing in Canada. And honestly, the Raptors might be able to give Brooklyn the best trade. So that being said, I really think the Toronto Raptors at plus 300 odds to get Kevin Durant is really, really interesting.
So much for those Brooklyn Nets NBA Finals odds, the way too early ones, right, that we kind of picked apart again, where they were, the second shortest odds, or tied for the second shortest odds?
Cam Thomas season, baby.
Cam Thomas season.
Steve Nash making TikToks, dancing to The Weeknd. Good spirits for once. So maybe we do see him move up the boards for the right reason finally.
Is the Brooklyn Nets potentially falling apart here in this offseason after being swept in the first round and all the drama that surrounded? Is that not the least surprising development in the NBA offseason?
No, I mean, it's hard.
It has to be.
Hard to argue against that, but ultimately it might be a good thing for them. You know, they're the ones that kind of wanted to test the waters with Kevin Durant, with Kyrie Irving. Now it's all kind of blowing up in their face. And like I said, Steve Nash honestly looks kind of happy in that little video that I'm sure you've seen, because ultimately he's finally going to get to coach his team. And maybe they might have to take some lumps, maybe have a couple of non-playoff seasons here. But the Nets are finally doing the things that they have to do eventually to get to where they want to go, which is the NBA playoffs and eventually a championship. They were never going to get there with Kyrie, with KD, and it's ugly right now, but they're doing what needs to be done.
Interested to hear Raphael's thoughts on that at 2:30.
Me too.
Because I know he's got some odds out there for KD and Kyrie both.
Yeah,
where they might end up landing.
The Kyrie next team odds are a little bit more volatile. I would rather just refer that to Raphael, but I do think the odds for KD going to Toronto is interesting.
Absolutely. So there you go. Plus 300. That's good value on the Raptors there to potentially land Kevin Durant. That is our daily spread. It is presented by Suspense Games. Mario, I'm excited about this because I know y'all started talking about it a little bit when I was on vacation. I believe a Thursday is when we started rolling out. I'm pretty excited to get to talk about it too, though, man, because this is a really, really cool concept. If you ever wanted to be on a game show, you can do it right here. Spencer Hunt, Suspense Games, created his own game show, known the guy for more than half my life, since I was 11 years old. It is a fantastic production. I've seen it in action. It is an authentic game show that comes to you, whether it's for an upgrading your birthday party or company team building, family reunion, things of that nature. Game can work up to for 500 people or for 20. 45 minutes or so is how it takes. You can play however many you want, 2, 3, 4, just let them know. Podiums, confetti. They have a giant screen with all the projections, the graphics, things on there where you can see the questions. It's pretty awesome, man. SuspenseEvents.com is the place to go. Hey, you need to see it. We need to get you out to one of the events to see it. They also do trivia nights at various restaurants. So if you're a restaurant owner, hit them up. SuspenseEvents.com, man. It's a very, very impressive display.
Very cool, very unique concept. Very excited to get out and meet Spencer Hunt in the game. Very cool thing they have going on at Suspense Games, and very excited to be a part of it here on the Early Line. I'm
excited to have them along too. So definitely, y'all go ahead, check it out. Upgrade your game night. Suspense Games, SuspenseEvents.com. Authentic game show experience brought right to you. It's going to take us to our first break here on Early Line. Rafael Esparza still to come at 2:30. When we come back on the other side, Mario and I will kind of reset the market when it comes to NFL futures, as we're just 30 days away from the first NFL preseason game. It's practically here. So that's next on Early Line, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Mario and Musso, the Early Line. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at RevelryTeam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Best things in summer are unofficial. Coors Light, the official beer of
on Wednesdays, OTB. Our guy Matt Flynn stops by for an hour of some blustering shenanigans. And what's going on with your New Orleans Saints and the Tigers? Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Early Line with Mario and Musso, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a Tuesday edition of the Early Line. Musso is officially back from vacation, and football is also almost officially back from the offseason because you alluded to it in the last segment, my friend. We are now just 30 days away from NFL preseason football. I thought we'd take a moment here to kind of reset the market, look at some betting favorites as we inch closer and closer to the season. But before we do, I wanted to ask you, Musso, same question I asked Hilly, I asked Taylor as well when he filled in, just open-ended. What are you looking forward to the most this NFL season? Because we have a lot of storylines. Like, can the Bengals handle the added expectations, try to get back to the Super Bowl? How will New Orleans do in year one under Dennis Allen? The Patriots trying to get back to the top, year two of Mac Jones. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in the NFL?
Well, first, I just want to say the NFL right now is extremely enjoyable because it just feels so wide open. There's so much parity. There's so many teams that you could look up in February and see them holding the Lombardi Trophy and not be surprised. And it grew even more last year with Cincinnati kind of throwing their hat into the ring now. So that obviously I love the openness of the league right now. But the AFC, I'm really interested in the AFC in two divisions in particular. The AFC West, getting to watch those four quarterbacks, Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and we're going to talk a little bit about those guys in this segment. Getting to watch them duke it out in that division. And then, of course, the AFC North as well, man. I mean, it's just you mentioned the Bengals. Can they repeat it? We'll see. Can they run it back? Maybe, but that division's going to be stronger now, too. And you have a new quarterback in Pittsburgh for the first time in years. It's Ben Roethlisberger. has hung it up. We all know. So a lot of interesting storylines in the AFC. And I mean, look, the NFC is just going to be a gauntlet like it is every year. So like the wide openness, but very interested in those two divisions in the AFC in particular.
Fun stuff, man. And Las Vegas seems to think that there can be a lot of fun stuff happening in Buffalo this football season because the Bills are still the favorite to win the Super Bowl as we speak at plus 600. And Josh Allen, as it stands, is the current betting favorite to win MVP at plus 700, 7-1 odds. And honestly, he probably should be the betting favorite, Musso, because me and Taylor talked about this a little bit on the show last week. I think after what happened in that Chiefs-Bills game, a lot of people forget about how good Josh Allen was playing up until that point because he's coming off 2 playoff games where he threw 14 incomplete passes out of 62, 48 out of 62, and 9 touchdowns. Just really efficient football. And when you look at the board, Josh Allen is the favorite. He's followed by Tom Brady at plus 800, Pat Mahomes at plus 900, Justin Herbert and Aaron Rodgers, who are both tied at plus 1,000, 10-1, and way down there is Joe Burrow at 12-1, which I think is a really good price. I think that's interesting, but is there anything that stands out to you when it comes to the NFL MVP board?
Well, just in general, yes, a lot of things, but just in general, the expectation in Buffalo this year are heavy. I mean, that is a lot of pressure to win. Super Bowl favorite. They've made offseason move after offseason move after offseason move. We kind of talked about it a little bit before I left for vacation when we did Win Total Wednesday and previewed the AFC East. I mean, the addition of Von Miller on defense, James Cook to maybe finally stabilize that running back position. Oh, by the way, you still have Josh Allen, who you said is your favorite for the MVP. Yes, he should be. I don't know if he wins it, though. I think you look and you see very good value down the board. Now, look, if the Bills exceed expectations and they go on and they win the Super Bowl and all that, then yes, obviously, Josh Allen will be your MVP. But let's wait and see if that happens. I look at a guy like Justin Herbert, and I think that's extremely, extremely interesting at 10-1 because of kind of what we talked about to begin this segment, the AFC West. If Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers win that division and take down Patrick Mahomes and take down Russell Wilson and the Broncos, you're probably going to feel pretty good holding that 10-1 ticket towards the end of the season. I see great value there potentially for Justin Herbert to snag that. You look at Joe Burrow, it's kind of the same thing. We talked about that division's going to be tougher. The Ravens are going to be way healthier than they were last year. They've made some nice moves in the offseason. They drafted well yet again. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. What happens in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson? Doesn't look like he's going to play, but maybe eventually he is able to suit up. If Joe Burrow can run it back and get through, and they've made some very nice additions, you feel pretty good at holding a 12-1 ticket. And Aaron Rodgers has won the MVP the last 2 years. Yes, I understand he lost his top pass catcher. He's won the MVP the last 2 years. At 10-1, throw out of obligation, almost sprinkle a little bit there, right?
I agree. On that price for the guy that's won the last 2 MVPs,
the last 2.
I would think so too. Losing Devontae Adams does hurt, but way down there, I do agree.
And it wasn't particularly close, him winning those. Like, I mean, he dominated the voting in both years.
A lot of this has to do with team success. And to your point about Herbert, everything has kind of been there for him so far, except for the team success. Has not made a playoff appearance yet, but going into last year, his second year in the NFL, he was 14-1 to win this award. Now he goes up to 9-1, and Herbert really had a good season last year, at least statistically. He improved from 4,336 yards in his rookie year to 5,014 yards and 38 touchdowns in year 2. He's passed the eye test, but some bad circumstances there in the last game. They call timeout. The Chargers end up not making the playoffs. When you look at Burrow, who has a longer price to win this award than Justin Herbert, he hasn't really put up the stats, but he showed the intangibles, right? His stats were not as sexy last year. 4,600, 11 passing yards, 34 touchdown passes, but we saw what he did in the playoffs. Really, Joe Burrow didn't have to light the world on fire for the Bengals to have the success that they did. Like, he came up huge in the clutch. His defense created some really big turnovers, both in the divisional round against the Titans and in the championship game against the Chiefs, and he kind of took advantage of that, but he hasn't really lit it up statistically the way Herbert has. So it's just kind of about team success. Both of those guys are always going to be linked But
Yeah.
just given on the offseason for both teams, because the Chargers had a really good offseason as well. They add Khalil Mack, but I just love what the Bengals have as a roster right now. Joe Burrow coming back with a much improved offensive line. They picked up Hayden Hurst to be their starting tight end, which I think is a really underrated acquisition. And then everybody is coming back on defense pretty much. So it just sets up really good for the Bengals. And while Justin Herbert's been really good, I think that Joe Burrow should have a better chance at this award. And I think that should be reflected in the odds.
And Joe probably does have the better chance, if for division alone, right? I mean, while the AFC North's interesting, it's not the juggernaut, or projected to be the juggernaut that the West is there out in the AFC. But I'm with you, and you're right. They'll always be linked. I mean, it's just two guys, same draft class, who burst onto the scene and kind of both as rookies. Burrow gets hurt, otherwise he ends up winning that Rookie of the Year award that Herbert got. So I mean, it is interesting to watch. I'm still very, I guess surprised is the right word, that we're seeing what we're seeing from Justin Herbert. Like, it was just, he was not thought of. I mean, he was a first round pick, right? But it was, Justin Herbert just didn't come into the league with the same hype as Joe or as Tua or any of the other quarterbacks really in that draft class, and he's been awesome so far through 2 years.
The physical skills are apparent.
Yeah.
Again, team success hasn't really been there, and Staley is at the top of
Although
most.
they've been good.
They've been pretty good, and Staley's respected. He's at the top of most Coach of the Year lists, at least when it comes to odds. We'll ask Raphael about that too, but I do think that's really interesting. Another price that I think is really interesting is 30-1 for Russell Wilson to win NFL MVP, and he's 33 years old. He's a little bit older, maybe not moving around as much these days or as effectively, but he's going to a Broncos team that has a really good roster, both sides of the ball, and I don't think Russell Wilson will win MVP. Again, really tough division, but at that price for a guy that's supposed to make that team a lot better, I might take a flyer on 30-1 for old Russell Wilson.
Yeah, same thing as Justin Herbert, right? I mean, in that division, if they come out and they win it, and I mean, you're going to feel pretty good about holding a 30-1 ticket on a guy like Russell Wilson. And I think he's going to have a lot of extra motivation this year, honestly, too. So I kind of do expect a pretty big year out of Russ. Now, will it matter in terms of team success ultimately for the Broncos? And normally it does with the quarterback, but I think their defense has some holes on it that definitely concern me.
For sure. And we talked about that division a little bit last week. Maybe the Raiders take advantage there. Maybe they're a team that's not getting enough love going into the season. That's something we'll talk about as well, the price on Las Vegas there. But staying with the awards here, Kenny Pickett is the favorite to win NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I think the Steelers are in a very interesting situation because they also have a really good roster. Defensively, they got some dudes. TJ Watt literally making history. Minkah Fitzpatrick just became the highest paid safety in the NFL. And offensively, they got some guys too. You lose Smith-Schuster, but Deontay Johnson's been a really good young wideout, as has Claypool. Najee Harris is a running back, but will Mike Tomlin compound all that with a rookie quarterback starting, or will Mitch Trubisky be able to beat Kenny Pickett out for the starting job? The books seem to think that Kenny Pickett's going to beat him out, and they seem to think he's going to have a really good season too, as he's betting favorite for the award. What do you think?
Doesn't this just remind you of the situation in Chicago last year where Justin Fields got all the love for Rookie of the Year with the books, but it was like, we don't even know if he's going to start yet.
Very
right?
similar.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of what it feels like. Now, I do think Kenny Pickett will ultimately be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, is that going to be week one? I don't know. But it, again, eerily similar to that situation with Fields and the Bears last year. It's interesting. You mentioned the defense. Not a lot of weapons, though, offensively. You have Najee. You have Chase Claypool. Juju Smith-Schuster's gone. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough one for Kenny Pickett to really kind of maybe light it up. But if he's the guy and he's given the opportunity, Pittsburgh's going to, we know they're at least going to finish 500 right under Mike Tomlin. So he'll have plenty of options there and plenty of opportunity. It makes sense, but eerily similar to that situation last year in Chicago.
It's also somewhat similar to the situation we saw in New England last year, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
You have a quarterback that started games before, maybe not the highest quality in terms of talent. You have a young guy that has a higher ceiling. And after last year, because going into the season, I would have thought that, Bill Belichick would roll with the more experienced person, Cam Newton, to win that quarterback battle. But we know what happened. It went to Matt Jones. And although he's a rookie, he held it down. He did what he needed to do for New England to not lose football games. And maybe it could be a similar vein with Kenny Pickett, with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. But I do think the win total for the Steelers is a little low at 7. I don't know if I would touch the odds here on Kenny Pickett just because that quarterback situation is a little volatile. But I do think he will eventually have a good NFL career. Aiden Hutchinson is a betting favorite to win NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. I just think that's a really big jump, from Michigan to the NFL to immediately kind of make that transition and put up the stats. I don't know if I would go with Aiden Hutchinson, but the talent's definitely there, and I understand if you would want to.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he would be the favorite. He's the big name out of the draft. I mean, you look at a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau, though, that could be interesting as well. I actually do think Aiden Hutchinson takes it home, though. I mean, I thought he was the best defensive lineman in the draft, and I think he's pretty much pro ready.
Okay, 5-1 to win the award. He is the betting favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year, followed by Kayvon Thibodeau at plus 550, and then Trayvon Walker coming in at plus 750 odds. So these odds will move around a little bit before the end of the season, but if you feel good about any of them, put some money down because we will have NFL preseason action in just 30 days. And someone who I know is really excited about that is our friend Rafael Esparza. And on the other side of this break, maybe we get some of his thoughts on these NFL futures. Also get his thoughts on all this news happening in the NBA, which is affecting the sports book. That is coming up on the other side. This is the Early Line on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Early Line with Mario and Musso. 104.5 ESPN. This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Let's go now. Have an awesome 4th of July holiday. Stay safe. We're taking the day off Monday. We'll be back Tuesday, ready to talk. Hopefully, we'll see you then. So join us for Tuesday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're getting the early line with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, 2:30 on a Tuesday. Time to head out to Las Vegas. Chat with our guy, Rafael Esparza. DocSports.com, MyBookie.ag. It's our resident handicapper here on Early Line. You can follow him on Twitter at VSI.Sports. Rafael, we appreciate the time as always. Hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Right? A long weekend never hurt anybody, that's for sure. And there was plenty of action to bet on throughout the weekend. I mean, look, Joey Chestnut went under the total, but he also, went over the number of, I think, expected people choked out in the event as well. So, little best of both worlds there for old Jaws yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT of any sports. I put him above Brady, Michael Jordan, any football player. I mean, he's got 15 belts. No one else has 15 belts. Hogan doesn't have 15 belts. John Cena doesn't have 15 belts. Joey Chestnut, the greatest athlete of all time.
And plenty more, most likely to come. The replay of it is on here in studio. Let's start with Major League Baseball. Anything that really stands out to you tonight in the slate, big slate in the bigs?
I'm still looking at my rooms for watching my Cubs lose yesterday on 4th of July and extra innings, but there's some good ones. I'm a little bit shocked that the total is 8.5 or 9 in the Yankees-Pirates game. You got Jose Quintana on the mound for the Pirates. He's a lefty. Those powerful right-hand bats that the Yankees have, you're trying to tell me they're not going to put up some runs against Jose Quintana. I like that game to go over. And I think the Dodgers game, I think the Dodgers on a run line. The Colorado Marquez is not good on the road. I think the Dodgers bats put up some early runs and a lot of runs against Colorado.
Rafael, free agency is officially underway in the National Basketball Association, and of course we already have some drama brewing. When it comes to the next team odds for Kevin Durant, we are seeing some movement, and when it comes to the betting favorite on MyBookie right now, it is the Phoenix Suns at minus 130 odds. They're followed by the Heat at plus 300, the Raptors at plus 550, which I think is really interesting, and you got the New Orleans Pelicans at plus 900 odds to lay in Kevin Durant. We just saw Kendrick Perkins in the crew talking about how dangerous the Pels would be if they got KD. I don't think they could really make it happen just because I don't think they would trade Brandon Ingram. But as of right now, where do you think Kevin Durant ends up?
Yeah, he's not going to the Pelicans. I think it's just a 3-team. I think Suns, Raptors, Heat. And I would not be shocked if it's the Raptors. It's a kind of a rental. Maybe KD plays there 2 years and moves on. I think it's just those 3 teams. Maybe, and this is quite maybe, the Portland Trailblazers. I can maybe throw them in the mix, but I don't see the Pelicans. I wish the Bulls would grab them, but I like the way the Bulls have been racked up on some good free agencies. They got Goran Dragic as a backup point guard, but I just think for KD, Suns, Raptors, Heat, and maybe, it's a quick maybe, Portland.
Well, what about Kyrie Irving? Because it looks like a lot of books are starting to kind of just have him back in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, it would not be shocking. I think he'll end up in L.A., but not this year. I think he's going to be probably forced to play for Brooklyn. And again, KD could also be stuck playing in Brooklyn. If I was Brooklyn, I wouldn't be giving these guys any, hey, we're going to work with you to get you to your destination. You guys sign a contract. So I would not be shocked if KD, I would not be shocked if both of them are still a Nets jersey. That'd be fantastic.
Lakers fans aren't trying to hear that because then you just delay 1 year longer, right? Anthony Davis is another year older. LeBron is another year older. What I'm trying to ask you, I guess, is if the Lakers did somehow find a way to get Kyrie Irving, is that even really that dangerous? Like, how much do you think that would affect the books just because of how volatile everything in that situation would be?
I mean, we'll take a lot of future money, but I still don't even have them as close a favorite that they got Kyrie. I watched yesterday on Instagram, Anthony Davis shooting 400 free throws. I'm hoping he didn't get hurt shooting those 400 free throws. I just don't have any stock in them. Like, they're not going to be financially well off until the king takes off his shoes. And because right now, LeBron has just force-fed them to the horrible situation they have in that lineup. I'm not giving I don't care if Kyrie's older. They're not winning the championship.
Has this talk of trade with Durant or Kyrie or both, what kind of impact has that already had on the Nets' futures odds for next season?
Oh, their future odds is horrible. You're better off buying Bitcoin right now with those are tanking all the way through the roof than buying Net stock. I just don't see them, even if they were still healthy with KD. I didn't see them winning the East. I thought the Celtics could still beat them. I like the way they're doing. I think the Bucks, the 76ers, I still didn't like the Nets, even if both of those guys were back there.
Let's transition to a little bit of football talk here, Raphael. And before we talk futures for the NFL, the USFL season, the inaugural, or I guess the second inaugural season, wrapped up over the weekend. The Birmingham Stallions take home the first championship. Any thoughts on USFL and the future of spring football in general with the XFL now on the horizon?
Well, let me sit down to say this. I can't believe the USFL is playing again next year, which they already said, and they're looking for expansion for next year. So I'm a little bit shocked at that. I just think they got some kind of ratings watching it, but there's no way they can compete with the XFL. If they're going to play side by side with them, I think the XFL blows them out of ratings player-wise. So the second season might be their last. It was fun to watch if you like to watch football 365 days a year. I was watching baseball with sound and USFL and one of my TVs with no sound.
I am interested, though, in what the action was like out in Vegas for that. Because, I mean, everyone always says, right, there's a market for it, especially if you can bet on it. I mean, you could obviously bet on the USFL. Was that a popular play out there during the spring season?
It did okay. It outdid WNBA. It outdid some of the baseball games that were playing the championship game. But it wasn't outdoing a Yankee game or a Met game, because anytime those guys are on the board, everyone's parlaying between Yankees, Mets, Houston. If those three teams win in a day, we get crushed with parlays. But it did okay, but it wasn't nothing. The cows came home.
Rafael Esparza is our guest here on the early line. We're talking futures in the NFL here, Rafael, because I think that the market for NFL Coach of the Year, at least on mybookie.ag, is very interesting because I see two betting favorites here, and one of them is Brandon Staley from the Chargers. That's pretty commonplace. He's towards the top at most sports books, but Brian Dable is the other betting favorite at plus 1,400, first-year head coach of the New York Giants, and that caught my attention a little bit. He's followed by Doug Peterson, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike McDaniel, who all have plus 1,600 odds to win Coach of the Year. But are you feeling the New York Giants this year with Brian Dable being the betting favorite for Coach of the Year?
No, but keep an eye out for Josh McDaniels. I think anybody in that division, Chargers, Raiders, Casey, I think the AFC will probably win the Super Bowl, will probably win an MVP, and will probably win Coach of the Year. So I would say if you're looking to any of the future bets, make sure you have an AFC team.
Oh, okay. Well, Chargers are an AFC team. Justin Herbert has shorter odds for MVP than Joe Burrow. It's funny how these guys are linked just in everything that they do, and they always will be. Justin Herbert at 10-1 to me looks like very good value, as does a Joe Burrow at 12-1 if those guys can, get through their division. Any other value plays you like between those guys and maybe somebody else on the board at MVP?
Matt Stafford at 51, Derek Carr at 29-1. I think those are kind of some good ones. I think Josh Allen, he's the favorite right now. I think Buffalo makes that next step up. I think they surpass KC this year. I would not be shocked if Buffalo does what I think they're going to do this year. I would not be shocked if Josh Allen. But you can't go wrong with Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. If I had to pick between Herbert and Burrow, it's all who's going to stay healthy. I think Burrow's a better quarterback and it's a big if he can stay healthy. They need some offensive line. Hopefully they got that help during free agents in the draft.
Speaking of the AFC West, this is going to be the last one for me here, Raphael. The Las Vegas Raiders right now at mybookie.ag are at 6-1 to win the AFC West, plus 600. And we know that's a really tough division, but the Raiders, in my opinion, had a really good offseason this year. Add Devontae Adams to play with Derek Carr, his old quarterback. Also got some good defensive players as well, including Chandler Jones. Instead of asking you what you think about the odds, I'll ask you this. Are people in Las Vegas excited about the Raiders this year, like more than they've been since they've gotten to town?
Yes, I think this is probably I don't want to say they're going to say this is their year, but this is their year to win some big games. They're going to be on TV a lot. This division, I don't even think the Chiefs or the Chargers, or I'm sorry, the Chiefs or Broncos win the division. Give me the Broncos. Give me the Chargers or Raiders. One of those two to win the division. You said the Raiders piled up, especially on defense. I like what they did. It's going to be between Chargers and Raiders, I think, to win that division.
We were just doing like kind of a NFL market reset segment before you came on, and Mario kind of asked me just open-ended, what am I most looking forward to in the football season? And the AFC West was one of my answers. Kansas City or the field in the AFC West?
Oh, give me the field all day long.
Field.
I think Kansas City takes a small step backwards.
Okay. They did. Tyreek Hill's gone. The defense really wasn't that great last year anyway.
No.
I could see it. I could see it for sure.
Lose a couple of starters as well, and Matthew and Sorensen for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You think Matthew will be good on the Saints, by the way, Raphael? We're talking Chiefs real quick on the way out here.
That's a tough one. I'm a little bit excited to see what the Saints are this year in general. I'm not going to have any future plays on them because it's all going to be about offense. We still know the suspensions that's going on. Their defense, top of the notch, like I said over and over, probably one of the best top 5 defense in the league. I still got question marks on offense. But I'm very curious what they're going to do this year.
Here's Rafael Esparza, mybookie.ag, DocSports.com, with us every Tuesday here on Early Line for the 2:30 segment. You'll follow him on Twitter at VSI.Sports. Rafael, we appreciate the time as always, and we'll do it again next week.
Take it easy, guys. Have a fantastic rest of the week. And there's a Dodgers pitching change, so scratch that Dodger run line. Just now, Dodgers pitching change.
Okay. All right, so no more Dodgers on the run line, but did like the over in Yankees-Pirates tonight, did Rafael. We'll take us to break here. Come back, close out Early Line on the other side. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Early Line. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
On Wednesdays, OTB, our guy Matt Flynn stops by for an hour of some blustering shenanigans. And what's going on with your New Orleans Saints and the Tigers? Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Early line with Mario and Musso, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up the show here on a Tuesday. A little bit of housekeeping going back to our daily spread segment presented by Suspense Games. It looks like Rafael Devers is going to be held out of the Boston Red Sox game tonight due to arrest. This is as of 14 minutes ago. It looks like Xander Bogaerts is back in the lineup, but Rafael Devers out. So as a great man once said, check that. No Rafael Devers tonight.
Yes, so I guess that void, that does avoid your over 1.5 total bases. But great value on that Raptors play. And hey, even Rafael backed you up on that, man. Said Raptors for KD. Not a bad play, not a bad landing spot.
Hell yeah, KD in Canada could very well happen. And speaking of great men, we know that Joey Chestnut is one. He made history over the weekend, and some shenanigans. Going back to what T-Bob said in the promo there, some shenanigans when it comes to the over and the hot dogs eaten by Joey Chestnut over the weekend.
So first of all, valiant effort by the man on one leg to go out there and eat 63 hot dogs and buns, win his 15th Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest. That's just unparalleled success in sports, I guess you could say, with Joey Chestnut. Also tackled a protester, which was hilarious.
Thought he killed him.
As a matter of fact, I mean, bro, it wasn't his first time. Like, that was a trained maneuver, it looked. I mean, Joey Chestnut was way too comfortable to just choke this man out.
Yeah, with the hot dog halfway down his throat.
Mid-eating. Just mid-eating. Just next to the guy. It was awesome.
Man. I love when streakers or like protesters kind of get what's coming to them. I don't know if you saw a clip of a minor league baseball game over the weekend with the pickles. Oh my God, he hit stick that dude. You see the beer go flying in the air.
Came out of nowhere. I mean, that's great. It's right up there with Joey Chestnut. But because there was that interference by the guy, a lot of sports books have books refunded money on the overs.
Oh,
Barstool's
wow.
one of them. Dave Portnoy posted this whole elaborate, statement in Dave Portnoy Barstool fashion. But so Barstool Sportsbook, various sportsbook around, refunding your money if you took the over on Joey Chestnut yesterday because some fool ran up on stage and got chokeslammed by Joey Chestnut while he was eating a hot dog.
Big ups to Chestnut. Big ups for Dave Portnoy for stepping up and doing the right thing. And while we're distributing props here from over the weekend and wrapping up the show, how about our boy Windy over the weekend? Was on fire on the TV, was on fire over Twitter. He has been owning all this free agency news.
The memes, the Windy memes have been fantastic.
They're everywhere. They're in WWE. They're in like every sect of pop culture. And I think Brian Windhorst kind of needed that. We hadn't heard too much from him.
Why is that?
That's a good question. Maybe we explore that a little bit more tomorrow, get into some more NBA drama, get into Win Total Wednesday. That's coming up tomorrow on the early line. AFR next, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.